Hi, everyone. So welcome to the series of What Does Blank Do? So we're trying to break down the different departments, different components with each individual inside the real estate transaction. There's so many parts. People just say, oh, this is my team, but there's so many parts that play into it. Today we have Keith Klinger. He owns. Do you still actually go do the inspections yourself?
Yeah. I'm gonna do almost 500 inspections this year, personally.
So he owns it, he runs it. He actually does the inspections himself. He has a team too for USA Home Inspectors. So what does a home inspector do, Keith?
A home inspector's job is to make sure the home that you're buying isn't gonna fall down or burn down or electrocute anybody or float away. California has a special section in the Business and Professions Code, and it says it's a non-invasive visual inspection of major components. It's really loose wording. There's actually no licensing for home inspectors in California. In the land of lots of regulation, there's no rules. You could go do a home inspection this afternoon for a fee. My 14-year-old son could go do one this afternoon for a fee, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Our only requirement is that we use a checklist from a nationally recognized trade association, of which there's only 4. There's NACHI, the biggest one. They have about 200,000 members nationwide. ASHI, which a lot of people around here are familiar with. Korea actually operates under ASHI's umbrella, the California Real Estate Inspection Association. And then there's one called NAHI that isn't very big on the West Coast. They're more of an East Coast organization. So it's very important that when somebody's choosing a home inspector, they ask to see their certificate. There are a lot of people out there that don't know the checklist, or maybe they got certified at one point but didn't feel a need to renew. So when you say, hey, I want you to come and inspect a home for me, you got to be like, hey, let me see your home inspection certificate. If they can't show you one of those, then they probably don't know what they're doing.
So there's no official requirement. You can just classify yourself as a home inspector?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. Anyone can go perform a home inspection, and you don't need any kind of insurance. You don't need any kind of licensing. You don't have any educational requirements.
So what about, is there any kind of future projections of, certifications that are going to be the bread and butter, or have you heard anything down the pipeline, anything like that, or no?
No, actually, I've read quite a bit about it. There's also a trade organization here, California CCHI, California Certified Home Inspectors, I think it is, and they are trying to get licensing implemented. But actually, a lot of other trade organizations are trying to keep us from getting licensed. And there's a lot of controversy about it. But at the end of the day, you should have somebody licensed, or somebody certified, and you should be able to see their qualifications. You should be able to get a sample report. You should be able to see some of the work they've done in the past. A big red flag is one of the very few laws California has, and it mirrors the code of ethics for a lot of the trade organizations, is a home inspector is not allowed to work on a house for a year after they inspect it. So if you have a home inspector that says he's going to quote you prices or that he can do repairs, run away, because those people are actually, it's not very ethical to say, here's a list of everything that's wrong with your house. Oh, by the way, I can fix it for you for this price. Their motivation is not to give a fair and honest inspection. Their motivation is to bid a job.
Oh, wow, that's really good tidbits to know. The analogy I use for a lot of people is a home inspector is kind of a general doctor, general practitioner, right? For your general checkups every year, and they don't dive deeper for the most part into if the pipe needs scoping or specialty jobs, correct?
Our job is to know a little bit about a lot of things. So, on the checklist that I use is 137 items. And then you multiply that, by bathrooms and balconies and things like that. Sometimes you got 2 or 3 of each of those. So we can check 250, 300 things depending on the size of the home. I don't know everything about air conditioners. I don't know everything about microwaves. I don't know everything about toilets, but I know enough. My job is actually to observe and report. So we really don't diagnose anything. That comes later. So the home inspector says, hey, there's some broken tiles on your roof. You should have a roofer take a look at that. Oh, hey, there's a leak under your sink. Have a plumber take a look at that. Hey, this looks moldy. let's pull some samples and send them to a lab so we can find out if that's the really bad mold or if it's not so bad mold.
Now, home inspections, they change based off of size, and they might get more expensive later on. Is there a rough gauge of usually what a home inspection will cost?
Most home inspectors price based on square foot. There's no pricing guidelines, like the state doesn't set any kind of pricing criteria for us. Our prices range from the smallest condo that you can think of. A small studio would be just under $200. Your average, 1,500 to 2,000 square foot house is going to be in the high 300s to low 400s, all the way up to, I did a 12,000 square foot house here recently, and that was quite a bit more expensive. We were there for a few days.
Yeah, and something I tell a lot of my clients too is no property is perfect, but you want to make sure the property is perfect for you, because it's your job to find everything that's wrong with the property. That's your job. And
well, not everything on the checklist. That's a very common thing. So home inspection is not a warranty or a guarantee, and you might find some things after you move in. You might find some small things, but our job is to, your ceiling's not going to collapse on you after you move in. You're not going to find huge foundation damage after you move in. You're not going to find a ton of mold after you move in. If you move in and find a burned out light bulb that wasn't there, we did the home inspection, I'm not going to come out and replace it. It's a general visual inspection of limited scope. So we don't check everything. I'm glad that you said that, because it's a very common misconception. It's very interesting. We have a very low complaint rate at USA Home Inspectors. Less than 2% of the home inspections that we do, we actually get a call back on for something more than clarification. And 100% of the time that somebody calls back and has a problem, they didn't read their home inspection report. Very often I'll be like, oh yeah, hold on just a second, let me look. Oh, on page 32, item 4. So people would read the summary or skim over it real quick, and they don't pay attention because it's 100 pages and it's boring, but it's very important for somebody to read the whole home inspection.
And one thing I love about you guys is after you guys do the home inspection, you actually walk through some of the bigger findings in the property. And so you kind of have a better understanding of what's actually in the inspection.
What do you mean? Like,
so you guys walk through and you'll go, okay, you know what? Hey, we noticed right here, you might want to get further evaluation to the seller. And so it helps it out, especially when you're looking over 80 pages of this inspection. And sometimes you're like, where should I focus?
Yeah. So we do pick the big items, roof leaks, structural issues, electrical issues that are, anything health and safety related. We're going to try and walk you through at the end of the report. And we always encourage our clients to walk around the house and kind of scan things for themselves while we're doing the home inspection. You're there for a couple hours usually. It's pretty boring. So we always encourage people, treat it like a test drive. Turn things on and off, open and close things, look around. Maybe you'll find something that isn't on our checklist that you want us to document. We can write down, just because we're working off of a checklist for what we have to check, we can write down anything we want as long as we're telling the truth.
Well, thank you, Keith, for being on here. Hopefully everyone watching got some great information, great tidbits. If you've already worked with USA Home Inspector, hopefully you've written a review. If you haven't, I'm giving you a verbal review. They're great. All my right there. And don't be afraid. If you just got your home inspection, don't be afraid of the laundry list of items on there. Talk to your realtor, talk to your team, and talk to the seller about maybe taking care of some of those items right there.
Exactly. But people forget, they see this little laundry list of items and they don't realize that you as the realtor is there to negotiate on their behalf and help them out. A lot of times people look at the report and go, oh my God. And I go, talk to your agent. That's why they're there. That's why you're working with them.
Exactly.
I appreciate it, and I endorse you back as well.
Thank you. All right. Well, again, please follow, subscribe, whatever platform you're watching on. And we would love to hear your feedback. And if you're looking to buy or sell or invest in real estate in San Diego, give me a call. But if you're already using someone else, you need a home inspector, give Keith and his team a call. We would love to help you out.
Thanks, Vinnie.